This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
10:08 at WPSL, the talk of the Treasure Coast. Time now for Joanne's World of Nutrition, presented by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce, across from City Hall in the historic Arcade Building. And now, your host, Joanne Seeger.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. I am super excited about today's topic. As many of my listeners know, I usually wait for some really cool dream or inspiration to come my way before the show to decide on the topic. You know, when you've been talking about health and nutrition for 30 years, you gotta sometimes really use your imagination. And on that note, I would love any listeners to either call me at the store or call the station and let me know what you want to hear. I would love to talk about any topics that of interest to you. And remember, this is a live call-in show, so definitely call us up with any question pertaining to health. And it's okay to, interrupt on a different health topic that I'm discussing. I don't mind, going off on tangents. I do it all the time. Cliff, can you do me a big favor? The last week's show is probably one of my favorite shows. Can you tell them how to watch it on YouTube in case they're interested on listening again?
Okay, you go to YouTube and you look up WPSL TV. In fact, it's even easier than that. Just type in www.wpsltv.com. It'll take you to our YouTube presence, and you can go over there and search through all of the Joanne's World of Nutrition programs that are in there. There's bunches of them.
Thank you, Cliff. Yeah, last week my guest definitely demystified the keto diet and a lot of other interesting topics that Jennifer, my store manager, and myself get asked about all the time. So you definitely want to follow Cliff's very easy instructions on how to, hear and see my past shows. So today's topic is CBD. I have done this topic a couple times, but I've discovered that there are still many questions about it, and I have some new interesting info on it. But before we go into the topic, we must do our breathing exercise.
Don't ever forget to breathe
That's
every
right.
day.
Don't forget to breathe. So if there's any newbies listening, thank you so much for spending some time this morning. This is quite simple. We're just going to help our bodies just calm, go into homeostasis, help focus. We exhale out all the drama, negativity, anxiety, depression, and we're going to inhale all the positive. Only using our nose, holding for 5, and then exhale through our nose for 5. All right,
Slowly
Cliff,
in, hold
are
5.
you ready, my expert counter?
Most certainly. Are
Okay.
you folks all ready to let it all out? Let it all out.
Okay.
Exhale it all, and now begin through your nostrils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone participated in that.
And if you're driving, please open your eyes back
Yes,
up at
please,
this time.
quickly. So, there is a lot of times in the supplement industry, I hear quite often about, these cost too much money. I'm not sure if they really work. I'm not sure if they're safe. And sometimes those fears are warranted. I have to admit that there is a lot of, I don't know if you want to call it just downright lying that happens on social media about supplements. It is a little scary. I see all the time on my Facebook feed, on other social media devices that everyone's promising the sky, the moon, and above with just taking one pill. And it really upsets me. And I have a famous line at the store when people come in and say, Joanne, I heard that, if I just do this, I'll lose 30 pounds in a month. Or if I just do that, then all my wrinkles will go away. If I just do that, all my bones will grow back, in an instant. So I am here to assure you that none of that is true. And if something like that was true, I know what the latest one was. And this is what prompted me to do today's show, is someone came in that really, really wants to quit smoking. I mean, they definitely want to quit smoking. They are ready. And they saw a thing on Facebook that says this special type of CBD will stop them from smoking instantly. And so with heartfelt expression, I told her, not true, definitely not happening. And it really upsets me that there are people out there, but it's in every industry. So I always say, don't blame the natural food supplement industry for the few people that make money off of this industry. It's in every industry. But I want to assure you that, I try to sell and to discuss topics that really are true and that do work. And I either use them personally or with my family, my friends, or through the 30 years, I've seen customers really receive benefit from what I sell or what I say. So CBD definitely needs to be discussed again because there is so much misinformation about it. So let's start with why people are coming in for CBD. Well, everything. There is so many issues with stress and anxiety and depression right now. It's scary. I always say that I have things happen in my personal life so that I can find ways to overcome them so then I can help my customers with those issues. So for instance, I'm going through menopause. The first battle was the hot flashes, and luckily one of my supplements took care of that within 9 days, and I continued to take it. But then came the mood swings. Now, I've seen a lot of books. I was watching a podcast that was kind of making fun of menopause in a way, like these menopausal women have no control. They're just, crying 1 minute, screaming the next, and definitely worse jokes than PMS jokes. But now that I'm living it, I can see where some of these jokes are coming from, because it is definitely a challenge. You are crying 1 minute and then you are screaming the next, and you're lucky if you want to get out of bed. So I kind of looked into the subject knowing that this too shall pass, and I can, use a natural lifestyle and some of my supplements to overcome it because I've helped customers overcome it. So I just want to list to everyone what symptoms of stress are and then what symptoms of anxiety are, because it's kind of mind-blowing how all these things are related to CBD. So just hear me out for a second. It's going to be a little boring reading of a list, but I don't think people are aware of how serious stress and anxiety are to our immune system, our coping mechanisms. So here's some symptoms of stress: frequent headaches, sleep disturbance, back and or neck pain, feeling lightheaded, faint, or dizzy, sweaty palms or feet, difficulty swallowing, frequent illness, irritability, gastrointestinal problems, excessive worry, rapid heart rate, muscle tension, feeling overwhelmed, having difficulty quieting the mind, poor concentration, forgetfulness, low energy, and loss of sexual desire. Now, these are just symptoms of stress, okay? Now, I don't know, but if I was having even a quarter of those symptoms, I was thinking I had some serious disease. And now, these are symptoms of an anxiety, okay? Now, this is just generalized anxiety disorder. There's social anxiety. There's so many different forms, but this is the general symptom list. Difficulty controlling worry, restlessness or feeling keyed up or on edge, easily fatigued, difficulty concentrating or mind going blank, irritability, muscle tension, sleep disturbance, exaggerated startle response, headaches, stomach aches, dizziness, pins and needles, shortness of breath, rapid heartbeat, excessive sweating, shortness of, I already said shortness of breath, chest pain, and the anxiety and worry that all of these symptoms are extremely serious, like, it's a serious life-threatening disease that you're having. So I don't know about my listeners, but this is kind of crazy. Until I was feeling it, I couldn't believe how simple stress and anxiety can create such havoc in the human body. So I want to really, if you're listening and none of these symptoms you felt connected to, just know that someone in your life definitely is connecting to one of these, and unfortunately maybe not discussing it, because it is an epidemic right now. Stress and anxiety is affecting 1 out of every 2 people, and I really believe everyone that I personally know has this in their life, whether or not it's affecting them right now. Sometimes it's controllable, but you definitely want to listen to the show and get some solutions to all these horrible symptoms. So even though the show is about CBD, I do want to make mention of something else that works phenomenally. So if you're hesitant to try something new, or your budget is not allowing for any spending right now, try meditation. Meditation is phenomenal. It is so easy, so simple. Now, I know when you're feeling all these symptoms, healthy lifestyle choices seem the last thing on your mind. It's kind of crazy how when your body is begging you to make healthy choices, when you're feeling this unwell, it's like you don't want to do any of the healthy choices, even though you know you can and you should. It's like you feel, like it mentioned, the fatigue, the despair of not even wanting to get out of bed. It's insane how the body plays tricks on you. But get a partner, get someone that you can count on, a friend, even if it's a texting pal that can help motivate you to just do a few minutes a day of meditation. It doesn't have to be hours a day, and there's amazing, affordable, and some free apps that you can get on smart devices that really guide you through simple meditation techniques. And if you don't even want to do meditation, just do the breathing exercise that we did earlier and do it throughout your day. There is so much science and clinical study showing that the meditation will help all the different neurons that I'm going to discuss later in the show that help with the anxiety, with also depression, and with stress. So we're going to talk about pain control, immune system stimulation, decreasing inflammation. But if right away you're thinking, oh, I heard about the CBD, but I don't want to spend the money, then meditation there's no reason not to try it. There's no side effects. It's available to everybody, and it's just taking some time to quiet the mind. I personally use at home an app called Sync Tuition. It is $95 a year, but they give you a free trial period, and I absolutely love it. I was joking around with my husband last night that we do it right before bed. You can do it anytime. 20 minutes of the Sync Tuition meditation is worth doing about 4 hours of meditation. And each day is a different guided one, and it's super cool sound effects, and it's really neat. I usually fall asleep to it, but knowing that the meditation is helping my mind go into like what REM sleep makes you do. So it helping repair the mind, calm the mind, focus the mind, and those feelings of hopelessness and and worry, with time and practice, starts to dissipate. So definitely give that a shot. All right, so CBD oil. Now, CBD is one component in the hemp seed plant. There are so many different cannabinoids and terpenes that are in the plant. They all are important. What some people are still confused with is the THC that's in the plant. So what has been legalized is the CBD plants that have very little THC. Those plants can give you all the health benefits, but you do not get high, and that's why they legalized it. So it's really important to know that you will not get high with the correct and clean CBD products. I say that now because it's projected to be a $20 billion industry. So two things happen when something gets this popular. It goes out there, gets popular, and helps a lot of people, and it gets studies done because now there's money, there's interest, so really great studies get done. But the negative is everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon, and they start putting out cheap, inferior, and dirty products. And this happens in every industry. So it took me a long time to find clean products, and I've noticed on every block there are people selling really dirty products. And I will not, mention names, but just please, like I tell you about the food you consume, look at the ingredients. If it's gimmicky, just like now the vape shops are being scrutinized for, unfortunately, really selling dirty things and to our children, remember, you do not want propylene glycol. You do not want artificial sweeteners. You do not want colors. You don't want these things in what's supposed to be healing you and making you feel better. You no matter how gimmicky it is with these gummies, and it's really horrible what's happening out there. So when you buy the CBD, you want to make sure you're looking for quality. And you want to make sure that you're getting a full spectrum. You want all the parts of the plant in your product, okay? You want all the different cannabinoids. There's over 100 of them, and every one is special. They all do something important. I always use the reference to beta-carotene. If any of my listeners aren't aware what beta-carotene is, it's that component in a carrot that makes it orange. So, 50 years ago, they said beta-carotene was really good for your eyesight because people who ate carrots had really good eyesight. So they started pulling beta-carotene out of a carrot and isolating it, and people would take that, but not with the same great results as consuming the carrots. Why is that? Because carrots had a lot of other great things: vitamins, minerals, water, fiber, all the different carotenoids. But we really love isolating things because the money is in studying the one component, not the whole thing. I understand that it's hard to, study 100 different components at once, because then you clinically can't say that that one component does one particular thing. But the common sense of it is that this plant has always benefited us because of all of its components, not just CBD. For instance, the one that I do my house brand has a one cannabinoid that a lot of the others don't use because it's raw and it has like a strong flavor to it. But it's super important because it's not cooked, it's not processed. It's just like I try to do at the store with whole food vitamins. It's what your body can utilize and really get to the heart of the issues. So really critical that you look for a clean hemp seed product that has no fillers, no binders, no junk. And like I mentioned, when something is becoming super popular and a $20 billion industry, lots of great studies are done. So if you are the type of person that really needs clinical studies to prove to you that something works, they are there now. CBD definitely has extensive studies. Some of the other cannabinoids are being studied as well. Most of the studies are geared towards anxiety relief, epilepsy relief, and pretty much general inflammation issues, which I've discussed in one of my shows, that all diseases and conditions in the human body start with inflammation. Colds, flus, cancers, they all start with inflammation. So if something is the strongest anti-inflammatory in the world and totally safe with no side effects, wouldn't you take it? And so that is what CBD does. So there's so much information, so my mind is kind of spinning on what I want to really make sure I get across in today's show. So let's start with, why do CBD versus maybe some medications? If you are in the what I call the hamster wheel, where you're going doctor to doctor getting different meds for maybe some of the symptoms that I mentioned earlier of stress, depression, anxiety, especially post-traumatic stress disorder, which we see a lot of now, epilepsy, autism, these conditions all come back to like the genetics of the cell, okay? And the medications only deal with the symptoms. And unfortunately, you destabilize the human body when you treat symptoms. You might feel a little better in one way, but then all of a sudden another system starts breaking or becoming unstable, and then you go back to the doctor for that system and say, well, okay, so now I feel like I can sleep a few more hours, but now I have this problem, so now the new medication comes into your life, and that might feel like it's helping a little, but it's destabilizing another system, and then this whole onslaught to your body occurs. And this is not new news. You can just Google whatever medication you take, and you can see the side effects. Now, there are some people that feel like they can't live without their medications because they can't deal with the symptoms anymore. And I understand that. But the CBD does not work with symptoms. I keep calling it CBD, but just to be clear, I'm referring to the whole hemp plant that has over 100 different cannabinoids. So that works with your endocannabinoid system. And where is that symptom? At the heart of each and every one of our cells. So instead of treating a symptom, it goes right to our genetic material. It's kind of amazing how the CBD works. Because when you get to the nucleus of the cell, that's where our genetic blueprint is. And that's what it's working with. That is the amazing part. So it's not treating a symptom to try to mask something. It's not trying. A lot of people think, I'll just take it when I can't sleep. I'll just take it when I feel pain. But that's not truly how this amazing hemp plant works. It works at going to the nucleus of the cell. And that's where it's repairing things, stabilizing things, and helping put your body back into homeostasis. I know that this sounds too good to be true for some people that are suffering, especially with pain, and have had to use very harsh drugs to do this. But this really is true, and this really does work. So the one thing that I found very cool, there is 2 cases when the human body makes these cannabinoids itself, and that is when you meditate or when you are breastfeeding a child. I think that's super cool how those 2 times, meditation and breastfeeding child, your own body makes those cannabinoids. But you definitely want to think of it as not masking a symptom, which is normally what happens when you go to a doctor. The different cannabinoids and terpenes that are in the hemp seed plant, if they are not adulterated or dirty from other ingredients companies are adding, just pure, it will definitely go to our genetic, so into the nucleus of the cell and our genetic makeup to help bring our body back into balance. I've stressed over the years many, many times that our body is amazing. It does everything it needs to be done if it has the correct tools. So in nature, plant material would have given us all these different endocannabinoids and all these cannabinoids. And again, I mentioned meditation. So in other words, peace, relaxation, deep breathing, all these things would have taken care of our body. But as we all know, unfortunately today, we are definitely more sedentary. We're just, our minds are racing and multitasking. Even if we're doing it sitting down, we are not taking the time to really nurture our own endocannabinoid system. And these receptors for all these different cannabinoids, they sit on their cell just thirsty and waiting to be fed. And so we are normally not doing it through the standard American diet or through our lifestyle, which sometimes is really crazy havoc, right? So if you take this hemp seed plant, then it will feed these receptor sites, which basically funnel down, like I mentioned earlier, to the nucleus to make the nucleus happy. That goes right into the genetic strands. Now there is, I'm going to try to pull it up now. So if anybody is like really into YouTube, there was this amazing YouTube video that I watched on CBD, and he he starts with saying that he is doing it not for marketing, he is doing it for learning, and that is definitely correct. So I'm going to try to pull up, here we go. So if you are a YouTube listener, you should check out, it's called The Inside Story of oh my gosh, I got to spell it out for you guys. I always get tongue twisted. CANNABIDIOL, okay? What are the benefits of CBD? So he really goes into detail. It's just a 20-minute video on YouTube and goes into detail on how these cannabinoids work. And one thing I loved is he related it to like a baby's mobile. So on top of the crib, you know how the baby looks up and there's this beautiful mobile. And if it's a mobile of stars at the end of the strings, if you put a real big star on one of the strings, or if you take one out, it destabilizes the whole mobile. And that really hit home with me, because sometimes people are constantly spending each day addressing their symptom and not really thinking about just their life in general, what they're doing. It's always like, oh my gosh, I can't move my finger anymore. It's so stiff. I can't, open a jar. I can't hold my coffee cup, or I go to step on my foot and the neuropathy or the pins and needles are so bad. My head is hurting so bad I have this headache. So then we typically think of addressing that symptom and not going to the cause. So when we come back from break, I am going to just, again, go over the different cannabinoids and different hemp seed products that are available and how to use them, how to spot the clean ones and the good ones, and how to use them for different ailments. So hang in there and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Guiding the Treasure Coast in health, one person at a time. That's their motto at Joanne's Nutrition World, Suite 121, in the historic Arcade Building on US 1, downtown Fort Pierce. Joanne brings more than 25 years of experience in the natural health industry, right here to you. Take advantage of this free personal guide to wellness and good health. Meet with Joanne herself and get started. Nutrition World always provides you with the hottest new product lines, natural and homeopathic remedies, herbals, and best of all, expert advice from the people who care. Call Joanne at 464-3598, 464-3598, and learn the correlation between diet and great health. Stop in today. The expert guidance to health is always free at Nutrition World. Nutrition World, Suite 121 in the Arcade Building, US 1, downtown Fort Pierce.
Gut pain? Curamin is your safe, effective answer. Curamin from Terry Naturally doesn't just mask pain, it gets to the source and stops it. Get results or your money back. Gut pain? Get Curamin. Get Curamin at Joanne's World of Nutrition, US 1 at Orange Avenue across from City Hall in downtown Fort Pierce. Or visit joannesnutritionworld.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA, and this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Curamin is for the use of occasional muscle pain due to exercise or overuse.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now return to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in Fort Pierce. And once again, here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. Today's topic is CBD, cannabinoids, hemp seed, which really is all in the same, but I definitely want to clarify on today's show what you should look for and what you should stay away from. So like any industry that's starting to become extremely popular and worth a lot of money, there are many manufacturers that are cutting corners or adding ingredients to CBD or different cannabinoid products that should not be in the human body. The whole full spectrum hemp seed products is the first thing that you should look for. I always tell people when you're purchasing anything that you're going to put on your skin or ingest into your body, always go to the ingredients first. Don't get disillusioned by what's on the front of the label. Any website can say anything. The front of packaging is made to get you to buy it. So if they make a claim like pain, sleeping, like this one I mentioned on social media, stop smoking now, quit smoking instantly, try not to stay focused on that. Turn around your bottle that you're interested in, or if you are interested in getting an edible, then look at the ingredients. And it's really important. I know that we all make choices in our diet that might not be the best. We might decide, to eat too much sugar or fried food or French fries or fast food, and when we're having our weak moments. I totally get that. But when you're going to spend your money for a product that's meant to heal you, stop your pain, stop your anxiety, stop your depression, then it's critical that at that point, you do not buy something that's masked in a treat or something that's full of sugar or artificial colors or artificial flavors. So you want to turn around whatever you're interested in and just look at the ingredients. So for instance, all that really should be in there is a carrier oil and the whole hemp cannabinoids, okay? So it will say like whole spectrum or full spectrum. You want as many of the terpenes and cannabinoids as you can possibly get in your product. And a carrier oil is always needed. My favorite one is MCT oil. MCT oil in itself is extremely healthy for you. There is nothing bad about it, and it's very stable in packaging. So there are companies that have put natural flavoring like vanilla or a little stevia, because pure cannabinoids can have a pretty strong flavor, or odor that some people do not like. So I totally understand a little touch of stevia or a little natural flavoring. But if they have propylene glycol or other ingredients, any other herbs or any other ingredients, that is not necessary. Okay, CBD in itself will treat all the disorders that you've heard about. There are companies, like I sell Garden of Life, and I love Garden of Life. But they do have on some of their packaging, one's for stress, one's for sleep, one's for mind, because they're adding one other supplement to the product to help that condition. But keep in mind, that is not necessarily necessary when it comes to the conditions. They all can be helped with just the cannabinoids in itself. It's really critical to know that the CBD products that are clean are going to address the cause of your situation. It is not addressing symptoms. So you need to use them every day. You can make it affordable by doing a small dose if that's what your budget calls for. But if you're taking a high quality, clean product, then a few drops a day can do wonders. I love doing mine at night. I'm at a maintenance level of about 5 drops every single night, but I have more difficult days lately because of the menopause than I used to. So now I'm going to start increasing it back up to 15 drops a day, which is what I started with in the beginning for pain and also for sleeping. So you can find your own dose, but I always tell people because it has no side effects, the only thing that would happen if you have a clean product is that you would feel a little sleepy if you took too much. But again, it doesn't knock you out. It's not like a narcotic. So it's important to know that you want to take enough to feel your body start to change and start to become balanced and create that homeostasis that it wants to give you, but it just needs the necessary tools to do it. So for most of my friends and family, I tell them if they're really on a budget restraint, do 5 drops every single night. But keep in mind that your body's homeostasis might take longer to be created. So the more drops you do, even if you spread them out throughout the day so you don't get that sleepy feeling, you will get results faster. So if you do the average bottle, if you do 15 drops a day, the average 30 milliliter bottle will last you 30 days. And I know some of these drugs that are used for anxiety and depression are especially PTSD, what they're giving, they are so dangerous. They have so many side effects, and they're not inexpensive. Even with insurance, they're expensive. So to give CBD a try, which has no side effects, and in my mind, it's affordable. I sell a 500 milligram of my house brand, like $58 for a month. To me, that's not expensive when you're going to get peace of mind, stability, pain relief, a clearer mind. It's definitely worth it. And again, these receptor sites on every one of our cells is kind of asking you for this CBD. They're saying, please feed us. And when you feed receptor sites and you make them calm and happy, and they go to the nucleus of the cell and say, hey, we're good now, we've gotten nourished, then the whole body starts working better. You start feeling better, and it's really critical that you understand that. So on a daily basis, you want to continue with this hemp seed product. There are many customers that are using the CBD for symptoms only. They're thinking of it like a Tylenol or an ibuprofen. As soon as they get that knee pain, they start loading up, or when their hand starts feeling achy or they have a headache. And unfortunately, it's not that it's too late. It's any time is a good time to take it, but you're letting your body already destabilize and already becoming unwell. You want to keep your body well so the flu doesn't come to you, and the cold and the pain and the stress and the anxiety. You want to keep your body strong and in balance. So it's always, always about prevention. Prevention about the things that make you feel so unwell, then you don't want to make good choices. And it's really unfortunate that most of us, when we need to take care of our bodies the most, is when we really make the worst choices because we don't feel well enough to make good choices. So the CBD oils, there are many different companies and many different styles to buy it. So there are vapes, and there are gummies, and there are ointments and creams. I'm trying to remember all of them. There are patches that you can buy now, and some of them are amazing and super clean, and some are not. For convenience, some people are eating the gummies because they find they're convenient. They keep them in their purse and stuff. But just so you know, the purest and the best way is to get the oil. You want to get the oil. You just shake the bottle before you use it, gently shake it, and you put the drops directly under your tongue. I strongly suggest the first few times you look in a mirror so you can count the drops that you're taking, and then kind of get used to where on the dropper. Some companies put lines on the droppers, so it's easier for you. But if you do not have lines on your dropper, then, just count the drops with a little mirror and put them under your tongue and let it sit there for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, and then you can swallow or chase it down with a little water. Now, I get a little crazy with it when I put it under my tongue. Under your tongue is this mucosal system that it's literally like a direct shuttle to where all the cells are waiting for this amazing cannabinoids to feed them. So the longer it sits under your tongue, the better. That's another reason why I don't suggest gummies or things that are ingestible, because you're basically, so for instance, if you have digestive disorders, which are so problematic right now, you're taking in something that might have gelatin, colors, sugars into this product, that those things are the problem that caused your issues to begin with. So now you're taking this probably very small amount of cannabinoids mixed in with all this bad stuff, and you're chewing it and putting it into your digestive system, which now you're at the mercy of your digestive system to hopefully say, oh, wait, here's a tiny bit of good that they just gave me, even though they poured in all this sugar and junk with it. And then you hope that that tiny little part can go through your intestinal tract. But if it's inflamed, if it has leaky gut, it might take a while if it gets there at all. So there's a lot of places that sell the gummies because they're great to look at on like farmer market tables, and it's, easy marketing, and you can keep them in bottles forever because really there's nothing that's going to go bad because it's pretty much artificial colors, sugar, and junk. So then, you try it, you spend, say $20. You're like, oh, this is pretty affordable. But then a month later, you didn't get anywhere. You don't feel any better. So then you think CBD doesn't work, which is not true. So if you buy the oil, you have a direct transport system from underneath your tongue to get to those receptor sites. So you keep it under your tongue a minimum of 1 to 2 minutes, and please try longer if you can. Like I said, it has a strong flavor if it's natural, like my house brand does, but I get used to it, and then you keep it there until you kind of don't feel it anymore, and then just chase it down with just a little bit of water. That to me is the best way to get the high quality cannabinoids and terpenes into your system the fastest. And I feel it immediately when I do it that way. Sometimes the clinicals will say, 15 to 45 minutes, but I've seen right in my store people see a difference like within 7 minutes. It's crazy, but it depends on what symptoms you're feeling, okay, your weight, and your receptor system. So if your receptor system has been inundated by medications that are trying to deaden them, not make them function properly anymore, that system still needs to be repaired first until it gives you the 100% of the benefit. But like I said, the cannabinoids go to the nucleus of the cell, to where your genetic makeup, where 1,000 different pathways go to your genes, your DNA, and start repairing. So every time a new cell is made, it's made stronger and better. There is even a study that is a different cannabinoid that can help repair brain matter. So, I mean, to me, that's incredible. We used to think that once something was broken, it couldn't be fixed in the human body. But that is not true. Science has proven that everything in the human body can be repaired. It just needs the correct tools, and CBD is one of the best that we have available to us right now. So you definitely want to, again, try the oil. I mentioned vapes earlier. My suggestion is, and if some of my listeners use vapes or work at vape shops or own vape shops, I can't apologize for about what I'm about to say. Do not use any of them. None of them. They always use propylene glycol or different ways to make them vaporize. So if there was a clean method that I knew about, I would say to do it. But unfortunately, people are taking advantage of this vaping system, and they are putting harmful things in to make it vapable. So it's just like I mentioned, if you're going to do a gummy that's full of all the things that gave you pain and inflammation and unstabilize your body, then it's the same thing with vaporizing. You're basically putting something in that's dangerous to mix with something that's supposed to fix the issue. And because the cannabinoids do not get you high, to me, I see no point in doing it like as a recreational use. It has extremely beneficial benefits to the body, and I can't say enough. I get really stressed about all these people that are buying these gimmicky CBD products, and sometimes they say it's because the oils are more expensive, they can't afford it. Take less of the oil then. Make the bottle last 4 months instead of 1 month. It's better that you have a few drops of the real stuff than buy the gimmicky stuff that can hurt you instead of help you. Super important. So why should you use CBD oil? Well, pretty much just to exist in today's world. But really, why? Because now our plant materials have herbicides, fungicides, pesticides. We are being inundated through social media, the news, with everything about fear, negativity, drama. I gotta say, I love my personal stories, but Matt and I started watching the show The Ranch at first. It was like amazing. It was so funny. I really want to focus on watching shows that are happy, make us laugh. And in the beginning of the show, oh my gosh, it was great. We were like rolling laughing. And now all of a sudden it's like divorce, death, overdosing, like any type of financial destruction, wildfires. I'm like, hey, I can just turn on the news if I want to hear all this stuff. When I try to be entertained through TV, I want to feel, kind of entertained, right? And feel happier after I leave a show. But it was crushing how I kept watching. It's like, it's as human beings, we seem to just get pulled in by all this negativity and the stress and the fear mode, and it's horrible what's happening. And so, it's really critical that we do something to arm ourselves against all this negativity. So the cannabinoids, okay, I keep calling it CBD so everyone can relate, but really I'm talking about all the different cannabinoids that are found in full spectrum products. You definitely need those to defend yourself against the onslaught of the chemicals, oh my gosh, there's so many different things that are hitting us, and not only through our diet, but through our thought life, our environment, or the environmental pollution. It's critical that we give our body as many tools to fight it. Really and really important. So if you're just tuning in late to the show, we are talking about CBD cannabinoid products, to really choose ones that have no dirty ingredients, especially propylene glycol. I am proud at my store that now that I am selling my personal brand, that I went right to the farm. It's not that I don't love my 2 other brands that I sell, but my house brand, going right to the farm, I feel like I can really control what's in my bottles. And again, it's really affordable. $58 for a month's supply of the 500 milligram, less than $100 for 1,000 milligrams for a month's supply. I have been using it probably now 2.5 years, and it's incredible. But like others, like I've made mistakes of not being consistent with it, and you can feel the difference when you're not doing it on a daily basis. So I stress to you not to use it for symptoms, to use it in your everyday life. I mentioned earlier that meditation and making breast milk does create your own cannabinoids. And so to me, if the body was created to have these CBD components in the beginning of life and through the most calm and peaceful stages of life through meditation, then there is so much truth to it. And now we have the clinical studies to back it up. So give CBD oil a try and buy it from a reputable source, and make sure you're sourcing out the good stuff that's going to really help your body get well and feel in homeostasis. All right. So Jennifer, my manager, I call her the CBD oil queen. So if I'm not in the store, I am in the store sometimes. She can answer all your questions. She's amazing. And I will be there always on Thursdays after the show to answer all your questions. And I hope everyone has an amazing week.
Joanne's World of Nutrition, heard every Thursday morning in the 10 o'clock hour. And now you get to go meet her at Joanne's Nutrition World in the historic arcade building across from City Hall in downtown Fort Pierce. Archives for this show can be found on YouTube under WPSL TV. Go to WPSLTV.com, find our YouTube presence, and look for archives of Joanne's World of Nutrition. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie. Dr. Stuart Shipe's Holistic Health Hour follows CBS News. It's 11 o'clock right now.